So definitely something, please keep that in mind. It was a big win, though. I mean, 3 months is superior to 12.
And I do believe with FHA and VA, they are still going to continue to look at more of the overall credit that continue to go on with that forbearance. So keep that in mind, is just because you remove that and they have that 3 months, they are going to take a deeper dive into the additional credit history that went on with that forbearance.
Right, absolutely. So here's my question, since we are live and everybody is watching us, do you have your Outlook open? Or is it Matt that has his Outlook open? Because somebody's going, ding, ding, ding. I love it, I love it. Hey, you know what?
At what point can I close that without anyone noticing that I'm like...
That you're closing it? It was kind of like...
my computer.
Yeah, it was like when we had Larry on and his phone kept ringing, It's part of the live piece. It's what we do. We are live right here Wednesdays at 5 on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. We want you guys to catch it. We do record it live. Exactly what you see live on Wednesday is what goes on the radio on Saturday morning. If you guys enjoy the show, you want to know more, you want to ask questions, you got to, watch us while we're doing it live so that you can get those questions to us and we can answer those during the show. But, so you guys remember, it's Mortgage Mom Radio everywhere. You can follow us on whatever social media that you like to watch, whether that be YouTube or Facebook. No. You like to just hear it, listen. However you like to learn is how we want you, to follow us. So we're bringing all of those different pieces to you in that manner. Again, if you guys are watching and you have a question, please feel free to put that question right into the feed. We'd be happy to read that out loud and answer that question. So, what else do we have going on in mortgage lending today? I've touched on it quite a few times, multiple times, but I want to touch on it again because it just keeps coming up over and over and over, are the rate quotes that are happening right now, the bait and switches that are happening right now in the market. There was one in particular that just happened this week that was absolutely amazing, like floor dropping, drop the mic and walk out. We had somebody that got a fantastic rate quote because obviously you've all seen it on the internet, you've all heard it on the radio. Call now, get 2.5%. Call now, get 2.75% on the interest rate. And, when you call, you get really super excited. Who doesn't want that deal? You get your loan estimate by email and you're looking it over. And somebody sent it to me and said, can you look at this? It just doesn't look right. And there were 4.875, that is almost 5 points being charged on that loan. So I want to talk a little bit about points because I think that we talk about this a lot, but people don't really understand what are points, how is that different than closing costs, and it's not something that if you're not in the business that you don't really understand, right? So I think that we should really talk about that because it doesn't matter what interest rate that you're getting if it's going to cost you $1 gazillion to get that interest rate. So let's talk a little bit about points.
Okay.
All right.
I'm still trying to breathe over what you just said.
Right.
About the points that someone's been charged for 2.5%.
Yes. 4.875 points is what was being charged on this.
No.
What you guys have to keep in mind is there's closing costs that there's
I do not want to stay healthy, but I'll try to lose more weight.
They have to be paid. The county recording fee,
Yes, I got it.
fees to sign your document, the escrow cost, the title insurance cost, the cost to originate the loan. Those are all things that there is nothing that we can do about. Those closing costs on a refinance, not a purchase, refinance, everything all combined together should be between $3,600 and $4,200 in that ballpark, depending on whether you need an appraisal or whether you don't. This is Debbie Marcoux, the Mortgage Mom. Are you a veteran and you don't own a home yet? Well, what are you waiting for? You can get into a house with 0 down payment. The VA is very lenient when it comes to your credit, and there's a very good chance that you could get into a home right now. Well, what do? You give me a call. Call Mom at 844-934-34. That's 844-WE-LEND. For you. That's LEND and the number 4. You will get your appointment to talk with me one-on-one right over the phone. Let's see if we can get you and your family into a home this year.
She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
Do you own your home? Have you considered what could happen to your home if something happened to you and your family had to go through the dreaded probate process? Hello, I am the estate planning mom, and my name is Kristen. I am an estate planning attorney at Cummins Law. If you own your home and something happened to you, depending on how title is held, your family may have to go through probate court. Probate in California can take an average of 12 months to 2 years to complete and is very expensive and public. A will, while it states how you want your stuff distributed, doesn't actually avoid probate, it just guarantees it. If you want to avoid probate, a trust might be your best option, and we can help you figure that out. We have offices in Montrose, Westlake Village, Santa Clarita, and work with clients virtually throughout California. For information, text WILL to 474747. Again, text WILL to 474747.
Legal advice. Orders are created in a county by the way.
That's all
Law
right.
and licensed practice law in California. Professional license in your state. This law is located in Vancouver, California, and can be reached at 805-518-9633.
She's a mortgage mom.
Go back.
Okay, well, first of all, back to the But second, Patty over on Facebook is asking, are they still asking for reserve for 2 units to refinance with cash out FHA?
Yes. So when you have units, Patty, you have to have 6 months of reserves for an FHA cash out refinance. You actually have to have 6 months reserves even for the purchase of a 2-unit. It's just because it's the 2-unit, you're going to have a renter on the other side in that other unit. So they're looking for the cash reserves for the financing. See, these are the awesome questions that we want people asking us. Keep throwing them in there. Keep charging them. We love it. And if you guys aren't watching us live, you're listening on Saturday morning, start watching us live. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, follow our page on Facebook. Wherever you guys want to watch us, please do that so that you can throw your questions into the feed and we can get those answered for you.
And then Pam says hi as well.
Hi, MPM, love you too. I love that my family watches. It makes me feel so special. All right, so back to points. So, you know, the total cost for a refinance for all of the things that there is no control over, credit reports, flood certs, tax service fees, everything that just goes into it, $3,600 to about $4,200. The difference being that we don't know whether or not we need to get you an appraisal. If we need an appraisal, that appraisal is going to be somewhere between $500 and $650, depending on the property value, the size of the lot, the horse property, the acreage, you know, those kinds of things will determine what the appraiser is going to charge to do that refinance. Investment properties are going to be a little bit more expensive because they have to do more work. The appraiser's has to actually pull what they call as a rent schedule. They've got to figure out how much rent is coming in, what are those properties valued at a rental market as far as a monthly rent basis. They have to figure out what those carrying costs are on that house and show us what a net is for the actual profitability of that rental. So rental's going to be a little bit more expensive, but on average, primary residence, second home, you're about $3,600 to $4,200 in flat refinance fees. Now, you also have points, and points are in addition to those closing costs. We always try to do our very best to get somebody into a loan at 0 points. Sometimes that's not available on a rate sheet. Sometimes the best rate comes with a 1-point cost. Sometimes the best rate comes with a 0.5 point cost or a 0.25% cost. It depends on the rate sheet that day, the scenario, your credit score. Is there a 0-point loan? Is there not? If you are paying more than 1 point for your rate, you've got to stop and think, is this worth it? If your loan amount is $500,000, 1 point is 1% of that loan amount, $5,000. So that is $5,000 on top of your typical costs. So now think about almost 5 points.
And for me, I can't see any reason why 5 points would be a benefit.
It's not. It's simple math. It's something that you have to do. How much is the lower interest rate going to save you in your monthly payments? And how much did that interest rate cost you to get? And where is your actual break even? So your savings versus cost, where's your break even? You just divide it, right?
long does it take you to recoup that money and then to start saving? It's great.
Sorry about that.
It was astronomical, right? Now there's
Very
a lower credit score where the rate sheet is just really going to be ugly. It's something that we're going to discuss with you. We're going to talk about. We've had to charge clients 2 points before. It happens. You know, if you're in that lower credit score range, unfortunately, those interest rates get higher. The 0-point options go away. If you really want a loan, it's something that you have to pay for. But when you've got great credit, a lot of equity in your home, to pay that kind of money just to get excited over an interest rate that is being quoted just doesn't make sense. So please stop. That is what we do here. We will look at that. We will send you on your way if it is a deal we can't beat, or if it's a deal that's just untouchable. We're going to tell you, hey, this is fantastic, go get it. But we're going to also tell you if it just doesn't make sense.
Patty said thank you and then said we have 3.25 but the PMI we want off.
So that is something that definitely talk to us about, and if she has a PMI, it sounds like she's probably about an FHA loan right now. When you're in a 2-unit property, it's very difficult to get in. I don't know if personally any loan programs that will let you do less than 20% down payment on a 2-unit. On a 3 to 4 unit, you usually need a little bit more than that. The only loan program that will allow less than 20% down is FHA, which is why she has mortgage insurance. So, Patty, we've got to go through the numbers and we have to see where would that interest rate be today in a conventional loan. Do you have enough equity to refinance it? So on a duplex, to do a refinance, you do have to have at least 25% of equity. Some programs we can push to 20 without the mortgage insurance. So we have to look to see, is there enough equity now to do that refinance? Where would that interest rate be on a conventional loan? And then what is that total monthly payment? Sometimes it's cheaper to keep the loan you have at the 3 1/4 with the mortgage insurance. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's absolutely a benefit to do that refinance and drop that mortgage insurance. But the only way for you to know what can we do and does it make sense is to call us. I'm going to take you through it, and we're going to go one number at a time, and we're going to determine whether it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, we're going to tell you, stick with what you've got, just wait a little bit, you know, contact me again in 6 months, a year, let's see where you're at, let's see where property values are, let's see where interest rates are, does it make sense now? So it just truly depends, and we want to make sure we're not putting you into something that doesn't, and we want to make sure we're putting you into the loan program that suits you the best. So, Patty, just call us. How does everybody call us? It's easy. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844-WE-LEND for you. That is LEND and the number 4. We can get you on the calendar and make sure that you've got an appointment to talk with me. We'll go through all of the numbers and determine whether or not it does or does not make sense. So, on top of points, let's talk about closing costs, because this is an education show, right? And Matt has got another question for me. I love it.
Got another. Patty just said yes, just not the reserves. And then Michael over on YouTube is asking if you have mortgage late payments in the last 12 months, does that automatically throw you out?
So it depends. It truly depends on whether or not you're trying to trying to pull cash out or not. On an FHA loan, if you have mortgage lates in the last 12 months, you absolutely cannot pull out cash at all. If you have one mortgage late in the last 12 months, I have seen a rate and term get approved. On Fannie Mae, it is truly up to the computer system. So whether or not we get an approval determines whether or not we can do it with the mortgage lates. We don't typically tend to see a DU or an LP, which is